Okay, Why Did the Nation So Furiously Rage? This is a NISMA Level 4 Euphonium solo by George Friedrich Handel, edited by Greg Castleton. First of all, you want to make sure you're in the proper key. C major, no sharps, no flats. So if I were you, I'd probably practice the C scale as one of your scales for NISMA this year. Make sure that you're playing C natural, of course, but also E natural, middle valve, okay? And B natural up on top would be 1 and 2. If you have a low B natural, it's going to be either all 3 valves if you have a 3-valve euphonium, or first and second and fourth if you have a 4-valve euth, of course. Once you get past the whole B natural and E natural thing, this song is not all that hard technically. There's lots of triplets in it that you do have to use your tongue for. Very, very few slurs in the whole song, mostly tonguing, so you got to really be up on your tongue. Remember to use lots of air whenever you tongue something. But other than that, it's not technically all that hard. Remember to use a nice big sound here too. The entire song, starting at the beginning, is marked forte, so it should be nice and strong the whole way through. Okay. Now you're probably going to add little variations in dynamics to make it musical, but generally it's just a whole forte kind of thing. So from the top. You can see even on those first triplets, I tripped over myself just a little bit toward the end. What you want to do on the triplets, I think, is practice one triplet plus one note at a time. That's a good kind of little seed to work on. So for instance, when the triplets first start, maybe B natural C, B natural A. So get that one really down, and then take the A triplet, the one next to it, and glue that one to the following one by doing 4 notes. Then the next one. Then, you know, that kind of thing. Then you can glue them all together. Either take it 2 at a time, maybe, or maybe just 4 at a time. Eventually you'll get to where you can put them all together. Remember, you want to work on the puzzle pieces first, and then the whole puzzle. Again, make sure you're getting the B naturals, E naturals, make sure you're tonguing everything, make sure you're using lots of air to facilitate your tongue. Tonguing will work a lot better if you are using a lot of air, using too much air, really, almost. Okay, going on at the next part, let's see, this is the 4th line down, starting on the D after the rests. Kind of the tricky part in this little section is you do have a bunch of those F sharps, so watch out. Remember also that the sharp sound carries through the measure. So, for instance, on the 5th line down, G, A, G, F sharp, G, E, A, B, A, G, A, F sharp again in that measure. Okay, it carries through the whole measure, so be careful. Then that one little 16th note measure. 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. Okay, next part's not quite so hard. Let me start at the next part on the G. Pausing for a sec.
Good morning, Suffolk Middle School. Today is February 12th and it is an A Day. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. State Crew Group 2 for Crazy For You will meet for 2 hours today. Saturday, we will meet for 4 hours from 10 to 2. Please sign up in Mr. Blake's room 254. The Suffern basketball team defeated Chestnut Ridge yesterday 58-39 to close out the season 12-2. The Mounties ended the season winning 4 games in 4 days. Klebner Lubin led the way with 16 points and 16 rebounds. Luke Caro had 10 points and 10 boards, and Jaden Adozio had 8 points and 8 assists. It was a great season. Student Council, if you haven't gone to deliver flowers, please go to room 314. Today's Black History moment is about Matthew Henson. Matthew Henson, an African-American explorer, discovered the North Pole with Robert Peary. The hockey team won their final game of the year against Scarsdale. The goals were scored by Thomas McCarron with 3, Dylan Foresta with 2, Chris Olsen with 1, Chris Abbott with a big shootout to Trent Spence with his first goal ever. An outstanding game by Timmy Fay, Jared Packman, Jack Balk, Ethan Martyr, and Ray Tyrell. Great season, boys. This has been Jackie Cathy. Have a happy Friday.
Okay, so going back to that section I just played, starting on the 2/4/6 line down of the song, after the one measure rest. G, B, G, D, B. The little run there at the end of that measure is just, then that line is just a C scale with an extra D on top. Again, you want to get really good at the C scale so that you don't have to think about it anymore. Then something like that becomes really easy. Yeah. That kind of thing. Is the actual scale. Later on it happens just in part of the scale, really. But the problem I had a little trouble with was the triplets, of course, coming up on the 8th or so line. You do finally get to play some B flats here, which kind of threw me for a loop, actually, I think is what it was. So what you want to do, again, is really slow it down, practice the puzzle pieces first. You know, for instance, where the triplets start, maybe. And then. And then. That E natural up on top too is a little bit tricky, so watch out for that. The second vowel one. Starting on the second to last line. No. Yeah, you want to really slow that down, get it good first, and then work it up to where you can play it. It's marked at 126 to the quarter note here. You want to use a metronome, start slow, and then gradually work your way up. What I like to do is when I'm having trouble with a certain section, I'll mark that section with the tempo I can do it at. If it's lower, say, I don't know, 80 beats a measure, 80 beats a minute. Do that every day, and then gradually erase the marking and move it up as you move up on the metronome, 84, 88, 92, etc. Eventually, you'll get it to where you need to be. But it's got to be a gradual process. It's got to be a methodical process where you do it a little bit every day and gradually build it up. Let's see, anything else weird here? On the beginning of the second page, you have some F sharps there, of course. So be careful about that, 2 and 3 on the F sharp. Top of the second page. Nothing really too complicated there. Make sure you have enough air to sustain those 2 whole notes at the end of this section, the G and then the C, you know. If you started vibrato already on your instrument, that would be a perfect place to add some in, but that's another topic I don't want to talk about right now. Okay, so starting in the next part, coming up we do have some F sharps in the next part, one little G sharp, or actually three little G sharps right in a row too. G sharp, remember, same as A flat, just first valve. So I'll take it there from the second line down on the second page where the section starts. Yeah. Again, make sure you use lots of air for that nice big finish there. You can hear I had a couple of little technical problems around the F sharps and the G sharps. Nothing too serious there. Watch out for the rhythm, the second line from the end. This is the only time in the song where you have the 1, a 2, a 3 and a 4 and a, or 1, a 2, a triple, 1, a 2, a triple. Make sure those little 16th notes really snap. You can't get swingy. You can't do. It's got to be nice and. I went for the B flat there. Sorry about that. So again, in all these little tricky spots, just slow it down. Do it 1 or 2 or 3 phrases at a time, 3 little sections at a time. When you do a germ of a song, when you do a germ of a phrase, make sure you do enough that you can connect it to the next one by starting on a note you've already done. So for instance, on the second to last line of the song, maybe something like this. Practice that, and then start on the note you ended on the A, and do the triplets there. Then you've already played that middle note twice. It makes the transition putting them together a lot easier. Etc. Okay. Make sure on the high notes too that you don't push. You don't want to use a lot of pressure for the high notes. You want to use a lot of pressure here. You want to use a lot of air. And I tend to back off the instrument a little bit on the high notes just to make sure I'm not pressing. You got to keep the seal there, of course, but you can't use a lot of air. And in fact, if you're pressing the mouthpiece back into your lips, it messes with the cushion of muscle that you have here, that is your embouchure. Remember, your corners are going to push toward the center, and in this kind of motion, you get that dimple thing going on here, and that makes a cushion of muscle here, which is what vibrates to make the sound. If you're pushing that cushion of muscle back into your teeth with your instrument, it's not going to vibrate as well. It needs to be nice and free and open to be able to vibrate. So that's Why to the Nations. This one, by the way, it's a little confusing. It's leveled as a NISMA level 4 for the euphonium, but it's a 3 for trombone. I don't know why that is. I think the trombone and euphonium people are probably arguing about that at the NISMA manual headquarters. But don't let that confuse you. This is a level 4 for euphonium and a level 3 for trombone. Okay? Good luck with it.